Well, I know you're all excited to hear about Sesame Street, and we're going to go ahead and get going. Again, thank you all for being here today. We do want to start by thanking the Navy Child and Youth Programs for making today's webinar, Sesame Street for Military Families, Healthy, Happy, and Ready, possible. So we always do welcome professionals who work with our military-connected children to our parent training. So thank you all. We think that you'll find this information and that all that Sesame Street has to offer here very useful, but note that our parent support webinars have been designed with parents as the target audience. Before we introduce ourselves, we do want to share a little bit more about MSEC and our mission. The Military Child Education Coalition is a nonprofit organization that was established more than 26 years ago now, and our mission is to support all military-connected children by educating, advocating, and collaborating to resolve some of those educational challenges that are associated with the military lifestyle. In 2005, MSEC formalized support and programming for our military-connected parents specifically so that they may be empowered, informed, and hopefully proactive in supporting their children's educational journey. We strive to deliver these informative and interactive webinars that address the academic, the social, and the emotional issues that are associated with, again, what can be a hectic military family lifestyle. Our vision, MSEC's vision, is that every military-connected child is college, work, and life ready. So a couple quick administrative announcements. At the end of the webinar, we invite you to take our survey about today's presentation. We'd really appreciate if you take just the 2 or 3 minutes required to give us your feedback. This is a key method that we use to let our funders know what we're doing and also lets us know if we need to modify things so we can continue to bring you these training opportunities. You'll see a chat box on the screen where you can ask questions and make comments during the webinar. So we encourage you to go ahead and use that feature today. You should also see a PDF in there. That's today's downloadable resource. We'll be sharing different things throughout the webinar today. All of the links will be in that resource. So please know that if you're joining us by phone, you won't be able to download these resources, but if you private message us your email, we'll see that you received them later today. This webinar is being recorded. You can always view the recording later if you want to review the material, experience technical difficulties, or of course, if you want to share it or watch it again. So my name is Michelle Brashear. I'll be facilitating with MSEC today. I also have a coworker, Sonia, is in the chat box. So thank you, Sonia, for helping today. But we are truly honored to have 2 team members from Sesame Street joining us today to present this fun topic. They're going to introduce themselves, so I'm going to turn it over to you, Joanna and Rocio from Sesame Street.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. Firstly, thank you to Michelle and Sonia and the entire MSEC team for having us. Sesame Workshop and MSEC have been partnered for years, so it's great to continue the collaboration. My name is Joanna Cujo. I am a project coordinator on our impact programs team here at Sesame, including our Sesame Street for Military Families initiative, and I'm joined by my colleague, Rocio.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rocio Galarza, and I work here creating programs for the U.S. And one of the programs that I've been working on for the longest time is actually this one, the Military Families Program. So I'm very excited to be here and share with you my experiences, but also how this incredible program has continued to serve military families for all those years.
Yes, and Rocio is actually going to take you through most of the conversation today, starting with an overview of the Sesame Street for Military Families program and our newly revamped website. We've also launched a new suite of healthy, happy, ready resources this month that we'll talk through. And finally, we'll share how you can stay in touch with us. Off to the next slide. And before we get started, actually, we do have a trivia question for you. And we'd love to test your Sesame knowledge. So the chat should be open for you all to drop your best guess. But we'd love to know if you know what year did Sesame Street for Military Families officially launch? And I'll give you about 30 seconds to place your best guesses into the chat. Give it about 5 to 10 more seconds. I see 2004, 2011, 2007. And the correct answer is 2006. And I'll turn it over to Rocio to share more about the history of Sesame Street for military families.
Yes. It was 2006, and this 19-year-old initiative was a very important initiative for us. We wanted to support families in the serving the military. At the very beginning, our main message was children serve too. And the idea was to bring not only awareness within the military of the importance of particularly young children, but also bring awareness beyond for the general public to understand the service of military families. This is 20 years ago. And 20 years ago, I don't know if you remember, but I remember that we were trying to understand how children express stress or emotions through their behavior. We were just starting to talk about how do you talk to children about difficult situations. And so military families who go through many transitions, we're trying to figure out the same. And so for us, it was very important to provide resources to help families as they navigated difficult transitions. Next slide. And so when we started, the project actually was called Talk, Listen, Connect. And many of you you're probably too young to remember this, but Talk, Listen, Connect was a big deal because it was the first time that you saw characters. Oh, you remember? Okay, it was the first time. Thank you, Michelle. That you saw characters from a children's media perspective representing the realities of military life. And even though Elmo's dad did not at that point did not say exactly what was the branch of the military that he was part of, the Elmo and his dad really started to show how a deployment would look like for young kids. So it was a really important moment where families also started to talk to young children about what was going on in very specific ways. The first character actually that was completely military was Katie, and she came in 2007 with the USO tour, which went to all the bases. And the idea there was to help children express their emotions, even as they were experiencing this fun, engaging show, because they could relate to Katie. And Katie actually later on became part of some of the materials that we created around military families, particularly relocation. We went through quite a bit of changes throughout the years. You see here so many different formats on the website because, of course, 20 years ago, websites look different. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight is in 2013, we created an app, and the app was the Big Moving Adventure. And it continues to be one of the most viewed apps that we have. This one is completely dedicated to relocation. And what was very interesting is that it really took it from the child's perspective. And so children are going through the before the relocation, the during, and then the after PCSing. And that was for them really important because things like not knowing where their toys went, after the box was closed, right? Those type of questions that young children might have, there was no other place for them to explore. And so I would strongly, actually, the app still works. So I would strongly suggest that you look for the app, because it's a very unique perspective when it comes to PCSing. And then afterwards, in 2015, we changed to Sesame Street for Military Families, which is the one that the newest iteration of our work. And we have been Sesame Street for Military Families since then. Next slide. What has been very interesting is that we started with big transitions, and what you saw in the previous iterations of the project was that we went from deployment to homecomings to changes to grief even. And then what happened in 2017 is that all of you were telling us, well, being a military family doesn't mean only going through challenging transitions. It actually means a lot of different things. There are nuances in our everyday lives that we want you to represent. And so that's when you see in this, if you take a look at this part of the timeline, you see much more around, you have birthdays, you have wellness, you have also learning and growing together. It was a lot about, how do I help my family and stay strong as a family, but also how do I help my family within a wider community? And so it was a balance between continuing those hard to hit topics, but also the topics that were more everyday for all of you. And that's what you are going to see now in the website. When we go through some of the topics that we have now, you'll see that there's much more balance. Another thing that I wanted to highlight is that particularly in 2021, we were engaging with military families to address the issues that you were telling us were most important, that of course not only affected the military, affected all of us, but they were affecting the military community in very specific ways. And so that's why we really focused on your needs during that time. And that's what you're going to see throughout the materials, that we looked at what are the experiences that military families are going through that are specific to their culture and their community. Next slide. So throughout the years, we've created a lot, we've funded a lot of impact studies. And the impact studies have these particular goals that you see are very child-centered. We want from the beginning and continue to want children to recognize how resilient and strong they are, and not only recognize it, but build upon it. It's very hard for you to say, oh, military families are resilient, they're resilient, and not build on that resilience, just counting on it, right? So for us, that was very important, that it wasn't only celebrating it, but also support it. We wanted children to feel loved and safe. We wanted families to feel like they had resources to really talk about the things that they were going through in age-appropriate ways. This was very specific when we started, but as we moved along, these talking points became more about, again, the day-to-day experiences that they were having, that in the short term didn't seem to have very big or cause many big changes within the family, but in the longer term, they did need to be explained so that children could learn from it, right? And again, going back to those resilient skills so that they can actually become learning moments for resilience. And we wanted children to have a positive outlook. We wanted to be realistic in what that positive outlook looked like for the family, but we wanted to motivate children to see some of those changes that they were going through, that sometimes when you're out of, let's say, a base and you're with the rest of the community, it feels very different from what other children are experiencing. We wanted them to still see not only the pride, but what those experiences brought to their lives. Because we knew that even though some of the experiences can bring some challenges, they also brought quite a bit of learning and growth in children that needed to be celebrated. Next slide.
Thank you, Rocio. It's always great to hear about the history. For me, I've only been at the workshop for 3 years, so it's always nice to hear the story behind the resources. And hopefully you all have a better understanding of the history as well. And if you have any questions throughout, please leave them in the chat and we will try to get to them. And now I have a question for you, a Sesame trivia question. What branch of the military is Elmo's daddy Louis a part of? And I'll give you another 30 seconds to drop your best guesses into the chat. Give you all another 10 seconds. We have a few Army, one Air Force. Doesn't specify. And the correct answer is, drumroll, the National Guard. Thank you all for participating. Back to you, Rocio.
So when we went through the website, yes, he's in the National Guard. He actually we didn't mention specify what he was until a few years ago, actually. And it wasn't even in our materials. It was on the Sesame Street show. The show wanted to highlight the experiences of the families of military families, and they said, well, what better way than mentioning that he is part of the National Guard on the show? So there, he was out on the Sesame Street show. Then PBS stations were the show was on PBS stations then. So all right, but all of the military families material is on ss4mf.org. We have a special place for you, as you saw in the timeline, and this special place had a facelift. We have a new look for the website, and what we're excited about this is that it doesn't only give you the information per topic, which is what we usually did on the previous version of the site, but it also helps you link different resources by other by other tags that can help you really look through what your preferences are for the materials. So for example, if you really like printables, there's a way for you to search for printables in an easier way. If there's something around wellness that you want to see across the site, not only across topics, now we have the functionality where that's much easier for you to be searching. In addition to all of the topics that I'm going to talk about in a moment, we also have other resources provided by Military OneSource.mil that not only cover our target age, but go beyond. And we also have sesameworkshop.org resources like you see there that include topics like divorce, incarceration, everyday challenges that actually had on and off come up as something that you wanted us to develop or to give you some information about. So keeping track not only on the resources on the main page, but on that banner, because as if we find new links to resources that we have elsewhere that you are interested in, we might be able to place them there. But for the most part, the resources now are all in this wonderful site, and they have many different ways of searching for them and creating your own path into the materials. Next slide. So what you find now in the materials are I play the games. Yay, you play I love this. I'm so happy to hear that you play the games because we spend a lot of time creating interactive material to make sure that we have different formats that kids can have repetition on the messages. So I'm so excited about that. But as you mentioned, so we do have games, we have printables, we have videos, and we have a lot of material that is actually for adults. Why do we have all this material for adults? Well, not only because the topics are the type of topics that you would need adults to facilitate, but also because what we found is that our best impact is when the adult is the one looking at the materials first, really learning from the material, and then sharing it with children. And you see impacts not only on the adult, but also those impacts actually transfer into kids. And this is aggregate data from our different impact studies that show this. So you will see a mix of both adult content as well as content that is more directly designed for children. And as I mentioned earlier, we did start with deployments, homecomings, injuries, grief, which much heavier, much richer content in terms of the process and how that process changes the family into creating a new normal sometimes when it comes to injuries, or for deployments and homecomings, how that process helps the family develop resilience as these deployments and homecomings not only happen once, but happen several times. We also have relocation, which I know it's come throughout the years of PCSing as a big part of your experience. And so we wanted to make sure that we had information about that. But you also see this balance between family wellness, routine, self-expression, everyday parenting, and all of those are more recent. And I want to give a huge shout out here to a military mom that is an educator, a creative, a writer, so many things. Her name is Tara Wright. And without her, this new website just wouldn't have happened. She was the one who not only created the materials from an educational perspective and the writing of them, that we are going to be presenting today, but she helped us look at the entire website, in particular these topics that are more everyday, and how do we actually transform them into materials that are most relevant to your everyday life, to now. Given that this is a project that has been going on for 19 years, this was a huge undertaking. And I just want to give a shout out to her and to let you know that, like she has 3 kids, one coming, military spouse of a Marine, that we not only through her voice, but through all of you and through research and formative, we like to hear your voices and want to understand your experiences in order to then create the materials and reflect them. So you'll see that throughout the presentation of the materials. Okay, next slide.
Yes, speaking of the website, I'm back with another trivia question. What year did the Sesame Street for Military Families website launch? And you may know the answer if you were paying close attention to our timeline slide. And I'll give you all a few seconds to drop some answers into the chat. Your best guesses.
I think we mentioned it before too, Joanna.
Did we? I think everyone's scared to get it wrong. 2006. Charlene says 2006. 2008. 2010. Okay, and the correct answer is 2009. You all were so close. And it actually launched as Sesame Street Family Connections before getting a refresh a couple years later to Military Families.
Yes, I remember Sesame Street Family Connections was yellow. Then
Yeah.
the next iteration was purple, and now it's blue.
Yeah.
We've gone through different colors as the years have gone by for our website.
Each facelift.
Yes, exactly. No, but no, the truth is that now the link between the materials it helps so much to find new things, right? So we're excited about this. Okay, so the latest resources that just launched are the ones that are related to healthy, happy, ready resources. How did this come up? Well, it came up because, of course, being ready is something that is part of military life, always. And what we wanted to do is that this family readiness for young kids should look at should be playful, should be one where they feel like they're participant, and that where all of the family is taking part of it, right? So healthy eating, physical activity being part of that family readiness effort takes a whole family approach and really looks at how do you make it something that is exciting and fun for kids. Now, we are going to go through the resources now. I'm going to show you, this is just so that you know, I'm going to show you some of the video, then we're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to show you some of the other resources, and we'll discuss as we go along, not only what are the messages in the resources, but also how do we use them. So I'm giving you the heads up because I want you to, from time to time, I'm going to say, share how you would use this. So I want you to use the chat for that. All right, but let's start with the first one. This is a video. The video includes Elmo, as you see, the whole family.
Okay, is your father still out there on your obstacle course, Elmo?
Yep, but here he comes. And it's Tango. Hi.
Good girl, Tango.
Daddy.
Oh, and time. Oh, good work, Louie. You are getting faster with every lap.
Yeah. Oh, what does Daddy think of Elmo's obstacle course?
Well, it sure was full of obstacles.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, Elmo. First, I did the monkey bars.
Uh-huh.
Then I climbed up and down that jungle gym 3 times.
Oh, Elmo thought that would be a good challenge.
Yeah. And I couldn't find a giant snake pit to jump over, so I leaped over that big log instead.
Oh, okay. Close enough.
I gotta say, Elmo, your obstacle course may be harder than the actual physical fitness test I got coming up.
Well, Elmo just wants to help Daddy be healthy and strong.
And you are doing just that, son. You know, I am feeling pretty healthy and strong thanks to my daily exercises.
Oh, well, you'll also need some healthy snacks to give you the energy to keep going. So, let's all fuel up with some...
Peanut butter and banana sandwiches. A classic.
Yeah, or guess what, Daddy? Elmo spread the peanut butter on the bread all by himself. Oh, and Mommy did the bananas.
Is that right?
That's right.
Well, you did a great job, Elmo.
Oh, that he did. Oh, we also have some water here.
Now, how did y'all know those sandwiches are one of my favorite ways to get some good energy? I feel like I could jump over a pit of snakes right about now.
Well, Elmo was thinking 500 jumping jacks instead. Oh, and 600 push-ups.
Oh,
And 1,000 laps of Elmo's obstacle
All right,
course.
all
Oh,
right.
also,
Okay, well, before we do all that, Elmo, I just wanted to say that it's very kind of you to help me prepare for this test. It means a lot to me, so thank you all very much.
Oh, well, you are very welcome, Louie. And you know you've been working hard to stay strong and fast all year. And now that you have this next test coming up, well, it's fun to help you prepare as a family.
yeah. Now Elmo's ready to do the test, too.
Me too.
I know that's right, Coach. Okay, team, let's all do another round of Elmo's obstacle course.
All right.
Ready,
Oh.
and set,
Yeah.
and go.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
Here we go.
Two funny or very Sesame notes here. Elmo now has a dog. His name is Tango, and Elmo's mom has a new haircut. That actually this video was the first time that we got May with her new style. So you had it first. In addition to those changes, you see that in the messaging we are including the important detail of using the test that Dad is going through or has to do for his job as almost like the motivation for the whole family to join in and to also do physical activity. And that's what we want. We want you to look at some of these moments where that are very, very specific military, and for them to become motivations for the whole family to join in. In addition to that exercise, primero, some thoughts on the obstacle course, if you have any. We were able to put some of the pictures of what Elmo had asked Dad to do, so that you had a sense of the level of difficulty of the obstacle course, which of course is age appropriate. Elmo could do it too. And then also, if you have any thoughts of additional messages that you saw in the video, and I'll give you a minute to think and to put in the chat if you have any thoughts. All right. So another thing that we wanted to include in the video was the idea of snacks, which is why it's Elmo's turn to be part of that snack. Oh, yes, definitely the imagination part, the healthy choices. Thank you. But yes, so what we want is to make sure that in these moments of physical activity, we know that we get hungry, we usually want to replenish that energy. And so we wanted to model the idea that you are doing this physical activity, you pack healthy snacks, you pack water, so that you're really balancing and completing your healthy habits all at once. All right, so the next video is with May, with Elmo and Abby, who is not part of the military family. She's a fairy in training. So her family's fairy and monster. So let's see what happens.
Okay, Elmo. Yeah? Treasure map says that we have to go 3 more paces this way. Which way? That way? Yeah. Okay, here we go. So let me see. 1, 2.
Whoa! What are you two doing?
Oh, so sorry, Miss May. We're just looking for treasure. And wow, speaking of treasure, what's all that?
Oh, this? Well, these are ingredients, Abby. I'm preparing meals that we can eat all week long.
Yeah, that's right. Mommy and Daddy and Elmo make lots of food one day of the week, and then it's ready to eat whenever we need it.
That's right. And you know, it is very helpful when Elmo's daddy is working a music gig or when he's away for his military job and he isn't around to help cook.
Oh, I get it now. That's a great idea.
Oh, thank you. Oh, say, what do you two think of being my helper chefs for today, huh? You can be on hummus duty.
Yeah, I'd love to be a chef, but I've never had hummus before.
Oh, well, it's not too hard to make, Abby. You just have to blend chickpeas and olive oil and garlic and tahini all together.
Yeah, and Abby, it's really, really tasty.
Yes, it
All
is.
right, let's do it. Let's make some hummus.
Oh, wonderful. All right, get ready, my little chefs.
Okay. Okay, our hands are washed.
Oh.
Yes, and our chef outfits are on.
Oh, fantastic. You both look wonderful. Now, first things first, Chef Abby, would you please add that tahini there to this blender here?
Okay. Here you go. What is tahini anyway? Oh, Elmo knows. It's a sauce made from sesame seeds. Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Oh, me too. All right, now, Elmo, would you please add 1 clove of garlic?
Oh, yes, Mommy. Oh, sorry. Chef, Mommy.
Chef Elmo, are you having fun
Yes.
in my kitchen?
Yes.
Well, good, because in this kitchen, that is my #1 rule. We all have fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, garlic.
So garlic, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's looking good. Now, which one of you chefs wants to add this olive oil here?
Oh, can Elmo do it, Chef Abby? You go, Chef Elmo. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that right there. Okay, and now it's time to add these cooked chickpeas.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, look at that. Great work, team.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll just blend all of this until it's smooth. Well, dig in, chefs. We have earned it.
Mommy, that might be our best hummus yet.
Oh, I think you're right, Chef Elmo. No doubt it's because Chef Abby was here to help us, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really that good? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know, I understand how you feel, Abby. You know, trying new foods isn't always easy. But you know what? You know all the ingredients that went into that hummus, right? It is your art, Chef, your creation.
You know, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, Chef May. Okay, here goes nothing. Smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Creamy.
Uh-huh.
And really yummy.
Uh-huh.
But that's because we made it together.
That's right, darling, and I am proud of my little chefs. And you know, with your help, we have got enough hummus to last us all week, and it is gonna go great with everything else I made.
Yeah.
Nice work, you two. Can I hear a woo-hoo? Woo-hoo! Oh, now, what was that you were saying earlier about a treasure?
Oh, yeah. It says here that it's 10 paces that way. Oh, let's go.
Okay.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so I will start with the fun facts. The oil and the chickpeas were real, but the chickpeas were dry chickpeas, and the tahini sauce had to be like a concoction of different things because we couldn't get the Muppets full of tahini. Very hard to clean tahini from the Muppets. So there you have it. A little bit of insight into production. But in addition to that, we have 3 different messages here. The first message is really for the parents. It's a hint of an idea of how to create batches, bigger batches, when you have a parent that is away, so that then you can store those batches of food, and it's easier for you to manage the cooking when you're solo parenting for a while. The other idea that is here is, if you want children to be excited about your cooking, let's look for ways to include them in the recipes that are child friendly. And that's how you see the children really helping out with the parent. And then, hold on, could review and discuss. Absolutely. You could review it and discuss with the parent support group. Yes. And then the other thing that you see here is the big concern that many parents have consistently raised, which is you create all of these, you make all these food, you try new foods sometimes, and the children are not really excited to actually eat it. And so we wanted Abby to present that perspective, but also to show, sometimes you can have a little bit of hesitation, but even with that hesitation at first, you can try it and find out that you like something new. Different ways of using this, definitely, like you were saying, Alberta, that we can use it in parent support groups. It is a good video to post social media. Okay, hold on. I have to move to get the light on. To have a post in social media and to share with other parents. Some of these videos actually work very well when you share them with providers. So what happens usually is that in order to get those families that are not near bases or living in bases that are in the military, sometimes we kind of have to do a snowballing effect. And that means that if I'm in a military family that knows of the resources, I share it with providers that might also serve other military families, so that they are aware that the resources are available. So it's not only sharing it with military families per se, but it's also sharing them with other providers that might serve military families, so that they're aware, and also spreading the word that there's more resources available. Okay, but yes, we have another suggestions for phrasing it as your art. and giving them power back by reminding them they know what it is so powerful. Thank you. Yes, and I think that that's one of the things that we were trying to do here, in that we wanted the children to feel empowered in the making it. We wanted children to realize, oh, I know what's in this, as they are trying something new, but also have the validation that sometimes when you're trying something new, it's a little tricky sometimes, right? You don't know how it tastes. You see everyone else. In Abby saw the mom and Elmo being very happy eating it, and your hesitation is real, right? And so we wanted to show that, and Abby actually succeeding in trying the new food. All right, so let's go to our final video. After that, we'll discuss different formats. But in this video, you have Rosita and her parents. Let's see what happens.
Okay, familia, are you ready to plant these herbs we got from the farmer's market? Huh?
See, Mommy, I've got the seeds for cilantro, basil, and mint right here.
3 of my favorite herbs to cook with. We can use the cilantro for the rice.
Oh, and the mint for some refreshing salsa.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and the basil for those homemade pizzas we love to make. Oh, I can't wait.
Then what are we waiting for? Vamos, let's plant.
Let's plant.
Good work, everyone. Now to help them start growing with a little water.
I can do that. I have the water. Okay, cilantro, here we go. Water, the basil, the mint. Oh, this is so much fun.
And much less expensive than buying herbs at the grocery store. We'll have fresh herbs sitting on our windowsill whenever we want them.
Plus, they grow so fast they'll be ready soon.
They will? Oh, I don't see anything yet, Papi.
They grow fast, mi amor, but not that fast. They need a bit more time.
Yeah. These herbs aren't like the tomatoes and peppers at the community garden. Those take a whole season to grow. But these herbs will be ready in about 5 or 6 weeks.
Say, Chiquita, how would you like to be in charge of making sure our little herbs grow big and strong, just like you?
I see, Papi. I love that idea. I will talk to them every day.
Don't forget to give them water and sunlight.
Of course, and that too. Look at you. You're growing so well, all my little herbs. Cilantro, basil, mint. Oh, you're looking wonderful.
Rosita, can you grab a few basil leaves for our pizza?
Ay, claro que sí, Mommy. Let me get my scissors. Okay, basil. Thank you so much. Oh, one final touch. Oh, I like this. Coming, Mommy.
Okay, so here you have the tip for the parent of growing your own garden. We did it in the windowsill just because we wanted to make sure that if you have an apartment and you live in a city, you can actually do this as well. And then you have the idea for the child being part of the creating of the garden, and being so much part that they can actually pick some of the leaves and help with the cooking later on. So that is our 3 videos that we have for this topic. Let's move on to the different formats that we have. Because what we tried to do was, we have the video, but the different formats that we have actually support the video. So if you're doing, like you were mentioning, support groups with parents, you can couple the video with the printables, and an article. The printables that we have are, one of them is a kitchen garden, so that if you are if the families are interested, or you're interested in creating a workshop to do a garden, you have the labels that people can use. The other one is on the menu, which is related to what Elmo's mom was doing with Abby and Elmo, which is really think about meal planning when one of the parents is away. And of course, we got the moves, with some of the moves that you might want to include in an obstacle course or a movement challenge. Next slide. We also have these new articles that, again, you can either package it by the theme of the video, or you can read the articles and see which ones might be most helpful for you. The meal planning, I found very helpful, the meal planning one, in that it broke down how meal planning could, or some of the simple strategies that will help you in meal planning. Which sometimes meal planning can get quite complicated if you have a big family and you're trying to plan for a lot of people. The recipes include the hummus recipe that Abby and Elmo do with May. So if your child is watching that video, then use that recipe to see what they think. And then the PCSing pantry staples, I thought it was very interesting because you have the before, during, and after PCSing. So in the before, what are some of the things that you need to think about when it comes to packing your kitchen props or utilities. And then during, it has some ideas on what to do when you're on the move and you still want to make sure that you have healthy, or you practice healthy habits and healthy eating. And then finally, how to build that pantry, and some ideas and some tips on how to make it in a way that is also realistic, right, in terms of a budgeting for rebuilding a pantry. And so, of course, we have the Let's Move and Play, which is everyday activity, and some ideas on how do you move more, even if you're walking down the street with your child, if you're trying to do some transitions, what are some of the ideas there? Okay. We also are going to share with you this handy resource, which helps you with some ideas on how to use this material, again, for social media to share with others. But also it gives you a sense of how to pair the resources together. I want you to think of the military families that you know, but think also of all of those providers that either serve you or serve someone that you know that might benefit from knowing that this exists. The school, for example, where children go to, so that other families start feeling more connected. We know that there's so many families that, because they might not have the military community that usually lives around bases, they feel quite disconnected, and it's hard to reach them with these resources. So we really count on all of you to help us spread the word.
And we have one more trivia question for you all. So get ready to leave your best guesses. This is actually a question I hadn't considered until I started working here. But all of Sesame Street's main Muppets have 4 fingers, except for one who has 5. Do you know who it is? Leave your best guess in the chat. Rocio, do you know who it is?
I should know who it is. I think I know who it is.
Okay.
Yes. It's not Rosita. We just saw her. They count. You would think they count, right? So that he can actually count his fingers.
That's a great guess.
Yeah.
I'll give you all about 10 more seconds to throw some guesses in the chat. So far, I'm saying Oscar and the Count. I love
And
that.
not Rosita.
Or Elmo, which is also surprising. So everyone realizes Elmo does not have 5, maybe. Okay, we've got Big Bird and Kermit as well. So the correct answer is actually Cookie Monster, which makes a lot of sense. Oh, we actually, Snuffy, I forgot all about Snuffy. Does Snuffy have fingers? No.
No, he has paws, I guess.
Paws, right? It
And,
would cut his paws.
and Big Bird has 3.
3.
Yeah, and the Count has 4. Oscar, all the other ones have 4. Kermit, I don't know how many Kermit has. That's a good question. So some of the Muppets, I don't know if you've noticed, some of the Muppets are basically you can have live hands, they call them. So the puppeteer is putting the hand into the hand of the Muppet. Some of the other Muppets have rods. And so for those, it's even harder to tell how many fingers they have because with the rod, they're all merged together.
So furry
The
and
furry, yeah.
yeah.
So a lot more about Muppet anatomy than you expected, but
Also fascinating to learn. So thank you for sharing. And thank you all for participating in our trivia questions. Unfortunately, there is no prize, but we appreciate you for participating in our webinar today. And we'd love to stay connected with you all. So you can actually find us on social media at Sesame Street for Military Families on Facebook and Instagram. So please head on over there if you are active and follow us. That's where we share our latest updates. We share the resources whenever we have new launches. So it's just a great way to stay in the know with Sesame Street for Military Families. We also have an email if you have additional questions or if you're interested in our free printed materials. If you work with children and families, if you're a provider, we have resources available for free. So you can shoot us an email at militaryfamilies@sesame.org and we can share more about that with you all. And we'd also like to thank our wonderful funders at the Office of Military Community and Family Policy that have helped make these resources possible. And for more resources, as Rocio had mentioned earlier, you can visit militaryonesource.mil and also sesameworkshop.org for additional support materials around school readiness, healthy habits, tough topics as well. And that is all we have for you today. Thank you so much for having us. And I will turn it back to you, Michelle.
Well, thank you so much. I am not going to tell you how old I am, but I will tell you that I watched Sesame Street when it was brand new. If y'all know when it started a long time ago. So I grew up on Sesame Street. So this is so near and dear to my heart. And I'm so appreciative that they've taken and, branched off now that I've, joined the military with my husband and our family, that you all have joined me too. So very much appreciated. Does anybody have any questions for our Sesame Street team here before we let them go? I'll tell you what, I'm going to ask a couple, and if anybody has anything, just go ahead and put them in the chat box. But I'd like to know, how are these resources developed for the Sesame Street for Military Families?
So we go through a process. Throughout the years, we've developed what we call the Sesame Workshop model. And throughout this process, the first thing that we do is actually talk to experts on the field within the communities that we develop the materials for. So we've been working with the DoD and experts in the DoD for a long, long time. The experts change depending on the topic, but they really come from the military community, the providers that are serving the military families. In addition to that, that's the first part of the process. But in addition to that, we have formative research where we actually ask the families themselves about the ideas that the experts have provided, and they help us co-design the materials so that we get a better sense of what will make the strategy more practical, what will make it more relatable from a military perspective. What are the stories that come from military families? And as I mentioned, we have then the content process in which we continue to develop with experts and have writers that also are part of the military, so that we have more of the authentic point of view.
So someone like me, or how would the public get involved? Since you say you go to the experts, is there a way that we would have an opportunity to get involved?
Well, definitely through the research, because we always need that perspective. Sometimes there's a great idea that once we do the research with families, they tell us, well, that's very hard for me to do with my family, and so we have to change it. The other thing that we have done throughout the years, and that why we share our email, is because when there are topics, it's actually usually the military families that tell us when we present in conferences, or when they email us, they tell us, look, I need material on this or that. And it is that number of families reaching out that helps us make a case for creation of new resources on a specific topic.
And I'll also add those research opportunities. We tend to post those on our social. So if you do follow us on Facebook and Instagram as we're developing new resources and we need input from providers or parents, we do blast that out and go directly to our audiences on there. So that's a great way to stay connected and hopefully get involved in the future.
Okay, thank you. So I noticed that this Healthy, Happy, Ready is a 2024, 25 initiative. It was really very recent, right? So how often do you create those new resources?
So we try to create new resources every year.
Okay.
And if it is not every year, there's definitely an update to the website every year. So we also try to conduct research to understand what are the type of topics that we should be tackling, not only for the year, but beyond. And that happens quite often. So there's always something happening here at Sesame Street for military families. And you will usually have a launch in September, but we also celebrate the month of the military child. So you will have a lot of stories from military families then, and a lot of highlighting of what you're telling us are some of the issues or the experiences that you want us to share.
Do you already know what your next ones will focus on? Your next suite will focus on?
Well, we're working on this right now. There's so many possibilities. But I do have to say that there's the idea of readiness and of health has become something that is very, very important for military families. And there might be a need to continue to build on this, not only for next year, but just in general. It's something that the military families have told us is a big interest.
I remember when you all sent me your title, I was so excited because I like the way you linked that together, Healthy, Happy, Ready, because readiness is, huge within the military.
Yes,
so
and
I think that you did very well with that one. But we're gonna, I think, let you guys go. But we so appreciate you, Rocio, Joanna, for your time today. We want to thank you and want to thank Sesame Street for generously sharing your time and all this with us today, and for the kindness and compassion and support that you all and Sesame Street continue to show our military families. So appreciate everything that you've done for us and everything that you've shared with us today.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Thank you very much.
So much.
I'm going to go ahead and share a couple more slides. They'll join us in just a little bit again. If you have any questions that you still might think about in the meantime. But first of all, we're going to ask you, in the beginning, we mentioned to you about completing a survey. So we do want to thank you for joining us today. But this is that opportunity for you to complete that survey. You can do that by checking the link in the chat box, or you can use the QR code that is on the slide. That'll connect you right to it. On the survey, make sure you enter the 4-digit webinar code 8025. That just specifies this particular webinar. And then be sure to hit submit at the end of the survey. If you don't fill it out now, following the webinar, you will receive an email invitation to take it. But we do use this tool to make ongoing improvements. New topics of interest can be added. And of course, we give that all needed feedback to our funders. So we do appreciate that. If you don't already know about our amazing military student consultants, they are there to give you any kind of educational questions, answers that you might have about your military connected student. They're good for parents, but they are also there to help professionals. So if you have any educational related questions, concerns, reach out to them. They are really awesome. We also want to share that MSEC has the Wellbeing Toolkit. It was developed for parents, school professionals, behavioral mental health professionals, as well as community leaders. It is full of resources for all aspects of military-connected child well-being. We'd love for you to explore it and share it with others. And if you missed one of our previous webinars, or again, if you want to share this session, our recordings can be found on our website at militarychild.org, and then eventually they will all be on YouTube, and both of those links are in the chat box. We are very excited to announce that we have webinars that are presented specifically for our Spanish-speaking community. We have one a month, so please join Mariela and Yasmina at the end of October for... I'm not going to try to say the Spanish. I'm sorry, Rocio. I don't know how to speak Spanish, but the English version is Study Skills for Military Connected High School Students. And the registration link for that webinar is included in the chat box. And if you're interested in obtaining a certificate of completion after this live presentation, if you complete that online survey, you will get an opportunity to get that survey, and you can reach out to research@militarychild.org. And again, we would like to give a special thanks to the Navy Child and Youth Programs, our funder for today, for making today's webinar possible, for all of you for attending and your interest and participation, and of course, our great friends from Sesame Street. So we'll stay on for just a few more minutes. If you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat box. And if you're not, we hope that you have a wonderful remaining rest of your day.